Are working hard to try and understand the underlying reasons for the huge discrepancies in COVID-19 symptoms. And it turns out that genetics may be a big reason. According to a new study, researchers at King's College in London, they evaluated the symptoms of over 2,500 identical and fraternal twins who had the coronavirus. And they found that genes, they say, were about 50% responsible for the way people experience symptoms. So what can we all learn from this? Dr. Robert Green joins us. He's a medical geneticist, physician, and professor at the Harvard Medical School. So, Dr. Green, welcome. Why do you think this study is important? What does it reveal, and what can we learn from it?
Thanks, Eric. This is a great new study that is a preprint, meaning it hasn't really been published yet, but it gives us early insight into the fact that COVID vulnerability, the vulnerability to severe symptomatology, has something to do with genetics. Now, we shouldn't make a mistake of confusing this with vulnerability based on underlying medical conditions. So we know older people are at greater risk, people with lung disease, diabetes, hypertension, immune disorders, and so forth. But even some of those have a genetic basis. And the real question we're asking here is, if every other thing else is equal, why do some people barely get any symptoms at all, and some people get very severe symptoms at every level of age?
Do we have an answer for that right now?
No, we don't, but we have some pretty amazing experiments underway. There are people who volunteered over the past 5 or 10 years to be in biobanks that are associated with healthcare centers. So they've got their DNA on file here. Some of it's been analyzed. They've got their symptomatology on file. And as they come back in and they get COVID or get COVID symptoms, they either get mild COVID symptoms or they get severe COVID symptoms, we can match up their symptomatology with their DNA almost in real time. And some of my colleagues, being led by people at University of Helsinki and the Broad Institute across town here in Boston, have organized an amazing number of people, over 160 research groups around the world, who are combining their forces to try to answer that question. I've never seen anything like it. The speed with which experiments like this are being set up all over the world to try to work together to find these answers.
You know, what has been so frightening about coronavirus is its unpredictability. You know, as you say, if you're older, underlying conditions, we can understand that. But you have all sorts of reports that it's not just the older people, younger 24 to 50, and that young Bates College student, people have been struck down. Are we at a point yet where, let's say, go on Ancestry.com or, you know, a genetic marker site or something, or can I go to my doctor and get my genes analyzed to see what would happen if I got coronavirus, or how far? I see you're shaking your head, so I guess the answer is not yet. When could that happen, and when can they tell me that, yes, I'd be more susceptible or maybe not?
You know, it's a great question, because we're just about there with the other parts of medicine. We've got a preventive genomics clinic at Brigham Health that's one of the first in the world to let you analyze your genes and then look forward in time to see if you're going to be at risk for cancer and heart disease and other conditions. But we're not there for COVID yet. The other thing this is going to do, though, and the reason it's so important to do it quickly, it's not just about prediction, Eric. It's about actually finding out those clues to what you can use for a treatment or a vaccine. You know, we have this precedent with HIV, the CCR5 gene you might have heard about. Certain people have variations in their DNA that make it much, much harder for the HIV virus to get into their cells. So everyone's looking to see, is there a genetic variation that would make it much harder for COVID to get into your cells? Now, if there were, you could have a clue right there as to what's going on in that variation and how you could create a protein or a molecule or a treatment or even a vaccine that would take advantage of that knowledge. This is one of the amazing things about genetics, is it's not just good for prediction. It's not just good for diagnosis. It's really good for understanding the pathophysiology of disease and helping to find an answer when you're not sure where to go.
Yeah, man, oh man, if you guys can engineer that and like dissect the whatever the thingamajiggies are, my science knowledge. However that works, it would be absolutely incredible. I mean, final question on that point. What will it take to get a vaccine? Will it be this type of engineering and understanding the virus, how it attacks and globs on to something, as you say, what we're learning through genetics?
Yeah, there's over 90 different vaccines being explored all over the world. It's just an incredible set of cooperations between industry, between academia, between government. You know, the front lines rightfully get a lot of attention for the danger they're putting themselves into and the heroic and extremely fatiguing work that they're doing, taking care of people and putting themselves at risk. But I think everybody should know that all medical scientists working in laboratories, working in epidemiology, working in pharma companies, it's incredible how much people are working long hours around the clock, working together, cutting through bureaucracy, trying to make science work behind the scenes to make this better at every level. It's actually a good news story in the sense that it's transformative. We're going to learn things about how to do science together when we come out of this that I think will stand us in good stead for years to come.
It will be up to science to finally get this done. Dr. Robert Green of the G2P Research Project in Harvard Medical School. Thank you, and thank you for your work. Thank you to your colleagues, as you said, those who are on the front lines in the laboratories. We will beat this. There will be an answer. It's just a matter of getting there as soon as we can. Dr. Green, thank you.